Good morning. It's a beautiful day again. Hope your morning has started with a bang. I had a thought about what I wanted to say to you this morning and went to the cupboard to get my Daily Joe. Can you see that? And this changed my topic. So cheers. A friend knew that I used my coffee cups to stir my mind to remember to pray for certain people or groups of people. And this friend loved another friend so much that he bought me that mug to remind me to pray for my other friend and his family. Is that crazy? That is, and he transported it all the way from Destin, Florida. So what it told me is that my friend was thinking about me when he was on vacation, and he brought this all the way back to Indiana. What a friend. That's some good coffee right there. If I was selling commercials, I'd say 2 parts Dunkin' regular coffee and 1 part Dunkin' vanilla bean, and mix those bad boys up, put a little cinnamon in the thing, and let the hot water flow through there, and that's some coffee that'll blow your head off. You're going to love that coffee. So what I came up with was in First Thessalonians chapter 4, the first 8 verses answer this question, kind of like Galatians 5 does. I think the Christian walk is just as simple as this sentence out of Galatians. It says, if you walk by the Spirit, you'll not carry out the desire of the flesh. You figure out that verse, and Christianity becomes a real simple idea. So what does it mean to walk by the Spirit? And that is your homework exercise. I'm not going to go over that today, but if you figure that bad boy out, you're going to have a fun journey. So he gets done. Paul wrote First Thessalonians. Let me see, make sure I'm telling you the truth. He wrote that along with Silvanus and Timothy. So it wasn't just Paul. It was Paul, Silvanus, and Timothy wrote First Thessalonians. And so he suggests in the first few verses there, chapter 4, how to walk by the Spirit, because that's what you want to do. Once you're walking by the Spirit, you have an amazing life. So then he suggests they do that there. Then he gets to verse 9 and he says this. He says, now, as to the love for the brethren, you have no need for anyone to write to you, for you yourselves are taught by God to love one another. We talked about that yesterday. For indeed you do practice it toward all the brethren who are in all Macedonia. But we urge you, brethren, to excel still more, and to make it your ambition to lead a quiet life and attend to your own business and work with your hands, just as we commanded you, so that you will behave properly towards outsiders and not be in any need. Here's the deal. You can Google it, you can read through the old school version of it, you can look in a Bible app, you do whatever you want to do. Look up the words, love one another. And when you look up the words, love one another, it's going to be repeated so much, it's going to blow you away. So what does that mean? What does that look like? It's hard to know. And he says, you don't need us to write you a letter to tell you how to love one another. You know why he doesn't need you to write a letter? He said the reason that I don't have to write you a letter and nobody else does it is because for you yourselves are taught by God to love one another. You know how that teaching happens? The moment you trusted Christ, the Father took his Son and Spirit, planted them inside your spirit, and works from the inside out. His Spirit is teaching you today how to love one another. And so as you learn to love one another, it's not going to look like what everybody else says love looks like. It's not this real dainty expression of love. Real love is full contact sport. It is ugly. Sometimes you got to do things you don't like to do. You have to do things that are painful. That's what love looks like, and it comes from the inside out. I mean, who would say that the cross was a really pretty expression of love? That wasn't pretty at all. That was hardcore, full contact love, and that's the kind of love that's working from the inside of us as Christ works his life through our life. And so as I think about that, he says, then once you love one another, lead a quiet, simple life. He said, make that your ambition. I'm ambitious to lead a quiet, simple life. Well, I don't have to be ambitious to do that right now. Our government told me to do it. So I'm sitting here in my study 8 hours a day, living a pretty quiet, simple life. But then, if we're leading that quiet, simple life, it also says that what we'll learn to do is as we love one another, he says, don't only love those in your community, but learn to love those in a bigger community. And as you do that, as you love the brothers, he's saying specifically the brothers, then you'll know how to, what does he say? He says, then you'll know how to behave properly towards outsiders. The outsiders are those who don't love and know Jesus yet. But your love for one another is what will attract them to the love of Jesus. So I'm getting ready to do an expression of love to my wife and children, Connie and the kids, that is not something that I love to do. I'm getting ready to go for a run. And I do that because it occurred to me many, many months my body. When I take care of my body, it expresses love to my family so that I'm here a day longer to love them. And so when I go on that running trail out in the woods and I put one foot in front of the other, I'm not doing it because it's exciting to me. It's an expression, not of words, that I love my family. So today, be willing to live that quiet, ambitious life and love others. And I saw my friend Abigail show up there, and this is my cheers to your family. Thanks. Love you guys. See ya.